Women with advanced degrees should leave the United States immediately. It has become that extreme. And women, if you are pursuing an advanced degree, transfer to another country yesterday. This reclassification of degrees as professional or not professional shows that educated women are the biggest threat to this administration and their goals.
So, did you go to college for any of these? Your degree ain't worth it anymore.
These things include masters and doctorates in education, CNAs, physician's assistants, nurse practitioners, social workers, counselors, OT, PT, all of these things. Not only are they women-dominated fields, you want to know the other thing they all have in common? They're all our mandated reporters.
You guys can't convince me, again, that men collectively care about women. That men collectively care about women and children. You can't convince me of that. Where is the outcry? Where are all the men addressing this? Y'all, there's something really, really bad going on. We've been seeing the government just attack women over and over and over again, right? Just chipping away at the rights of women, chipping away at the protections for women and children. Since Trump's been in office. First time around, second time around, right? Just chipping, taking chunk after chunk after chunk, bite after bite after bite, right? And then today, this happened.
They discontinued the Nissan Altima. So make sure y'all do a friendly check-in on all the CNAs, any LPNs that you know, even the RNs. Make sure you check on every mom whose kids are in a football league, a basketball league. Make sure you also check in on the moms out there with the 32-piece hairstyles. Just send them some words of kindness.
Oh my God, man. Nah, but for real though, that's crazy. They are discontinuing the Altima. That's crazy than the motherfucker. But but on some serious shit, it's worse. It's even worse than that. Discontinuing the Altima. It's even worse than discontinuing the Altima. What are we talking about?
So, did you go to college for any of these? Your degree ain't worth shit anymore. The Department of Education has said that none of these are actually professions anymore. That's right, they're targeting women. They're targeting jobs that women do. Teachers, nurses, nurse practitioners, physical assistants, just about anything that has to do with women's professions and their degree. Your physical therapist is no longer a professional position. I know a lot of men do these jobs too, but they're targeting. They did keep chiropractic and priests and preachers. Theology is still a profession. But all the work you went through, they're targeting women. They're targeting women. They're making you are going to be paying more for your education because you're not going to get a college loan now because it's not a profession. And they want you to be considered a second-class citizen.
You can still get a loan. The cap is lower. You can still get a loan, but yeah, this is a problem. This is a problem for so many reasons. My wife has a degree in education, a master's actually, psychologist. It's really wild because it's not only going to make it harder for women to secure loans and people to secure loans in these professions. It's also going to deter people from doing it, which is going to just make people less likely to go to college to begin with, right? Like that. Like anytime you take away options for people, they're just more likely to be like, well, what else can I do? I think they want to force women into the military. They want to force women into low-paying jobs, or they want to force women back into the kitchen. One of the three. And the other part of it is that these jobs ultimately will be paid less. They're already, once women started to take over these fields, they already took a pay cut, but they're even going to take more of it. They're going to take more of a hit now. No doubt about it. Coming up here pretty soon. Just watching what this country is doing to women and seeing the ho-hum, reaction from men is kind of, it's crazy. Makes sense, right? I mean, they have a whole country full of men that don't give a fuck about women. It makes sense. But still crazy though. I'm still like, damn, like, man, you can't get men to give a fuck about what's going on with women. You can't, like, men don't care. They don't care. Even if it's happening to their woman. Again, my wife, her degree is included in this. I care regardless of that, but I definitely I think that shit is wild. I think that shit is wild how little men care about this. They're gutting the education department as we speak. They're gutting the education department as we speak, or they've gutted it, to be honest with you. Nobody cares. The men aren't standing up, the men aren't pushing back. These are your children that are going to be affected. My children that are going to be affected. The men don't care. They took away women's women's right to reproductive health care. They stripped them of that. They took away, they're making it hard for women to go to college and get and obtain degrees, especially advanced degrees. They are making it harder. They already aren't paying women enough. This is gonna make the gender gap. The gender pay gap even more wide. You know what I'm saying? Just like at every conceivable turn, you can see there was a concerted effort to negatively impact women, like just overwhelmingly affect women in whatever way, shape, or form they can. And it's all pointing towards sheep herding women back into having to be with men. Like, you know what I'm saying? Being financially reliant upon men. Now, this was a wrinkle in this all that I didn't think about, but and that's why I wanted to share it. I mean, this right here is deep and heavy. Makes sense too, especially considering, this is happening under Trump.
There is something extremely disturbing about all of the professions that have been stripped from professional degrees according to the new mandates, and nobody is talking about it. And it is extremely interesting that this has happened while we were all distracted by the Epstein files. Let's get into it. So it is Thursday, November 20th. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning. And recently, over the last couple of days, we've heard of a number of degrees that are no longer going to be considered professional degrees, so can't get the financial aid through the federal government that they usually did. These things include masters and doctorates in education, CNAs, physician's assistants, nurse practitioners, social workers, counselors, OT, PT, all of these things. Not only are they women-dominated fields, you want to know the other thing they all have in common?
They're all our mandated reporters.
They're all mandated reporters. How interesting that they did this while we were all distracted by the Epstein files. If it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck.
Might as well use it as a cover-up.
And that's something that nobody is talking about right now. Yes, they are all women-dominated fields. Yes, this is another attack on women that's been dressed up as something else. But these are all also mandated reporting careers that protect the children.
And you guys can't convince me, again, that men collectively care about women. That men collectively care about women and children. You can't convince me of that. Where's the outcry? Where are all the men addressing this? Where? What are you guys doing? What are you doing? You're gonna vote again for the same, type of people coming up that are actively trying to harm women and harm children. Your children, my children, our wives, our family members, our friends, our community, actively destroying their lives, trying to harm them. No protection, strip away all the protections for little girls who y'all claim, we gotta protect the girl. We gotta protect. That's why I don't listen to men when they be out here talking about how women dress and how little girls dress, but then y'all will allow this to happen. You don't give a fuck about them babies. y'all don't give a rat's ass about these kids, man. Only women care. Like, women are the only group that care about kids collectively.
Women with advanced degrees should leave the United States immediately. It has become that extreme. And women, if you are pursuing an advanced degree, transfer to another country yesterday. This reclassification of degrees as professional or not professional shows that educated women are the biggest threat to this administration and their goals. So what are they trying to do? They are trying to prevent more of us from being out there, more of us with advanced professional degrees like teachers, nurses, nurse practitioners, physical therapists, occupational therapists, degrees that give women historically independence to live autonomously, not be tied down to a man. And ladies, if you already have your degree, they will come for you at some point too. This is just the beginning. First, they're trying to prevent more of us, but eventually they're going to come for all of us. You do know that. And me, being a former teacher with a master's degree in education and the rise of fascism, yeah, that's one of my advanced degrees, honey, saw the writing on the wall over a year ago. Over a year ago. And guys, they told us exactly what they were going to do. They put it online. You could literally Google P 2025, you know what I mean, and read it. This was all part of their plan. And now is the time. I tell people all the time, I'll let you know when it's time to leave. I'll let you know when it's time to worry. Ladies, it's
beyond time to do that, but that's easier said than done. Telling people to leave their country, you know what I mean, and relocate to another country, that's easier said than done. Those are one of those things that like I don't get in the business of doing. Because though I could probably leave the country and my family could leave, I wouldn't tell everybody to leave the same way that I can afford to go to therapy. A lot of people can't. A lot of people don't have access to therapy. That's why I don't go out here and tell everybody, go to therapy. What if you don't have health insurance? You know what I'm saying? There's like 50 million Americans uninsured or underinsured. And even if you are insured, you might have to pay a copay. You might have to pay some money out of pocket that you can't afford. You may not even have the time because you got to work 12, 13 hours a day. Like, I think that's an elitist thing to say. And I don't mean to like, come down on her too much because I agree with everything she's saying, the sentiments, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that I don't necessarily echo those sentiments because again, I think that is a little classist. But anyways, yes, it is very much a problem. Shit is hitting the fan for our kids and for the women in society, for everybody, to be honest with you. I mean, men too, but men don't care. It's just not as much. The problems aren't as bad for men. They're doing all of this, by the way. And it's not like they're going to pay the men more. It's not like we're going to go back to the golden days when men were able to afford, being the sole provider. The average man still won't be able to do that. College is still going to be expensive. Cars are still going to be expensive. Houses are fucking astronomically like out of this world high for people. Like they're still not raising the floor for our income. They're still not lowering the prices on healthcare, on childcare, on any of these things that people need to survive. But they're trying to force women to be in relationships with men and rely on men 100% financially. I'm saying this to the men. Like, you can't afford to take care of a family. Men are shutting up. Men not saying it because they think this is going to benefit you. Okay, cool. What are you going to do once you get that woman and you make $57,000 a year? You make $62,000 a year. Somebody was quoting some numbers today, and I don't know if these numbers are true, but I just heard somebody say this, and they sound about right. They said they lived in Memphis, and they said that based on whatever they were reading, to live comfortably in Memphis, you got to make $80,000 a year. Memphis, Tennessee. You need for one person, you need 80 something thousand dollars a year. I'm like, what? In Memphis? Like, so if you live in California, you live in New York, you live in Massachusetts, you live in Pennsylvania, maybe not Pennsylvania so much. You live in Connecticut, you live in DC, these highly populated areas, Washington, Seattle, Portland. They're not helping us at all, men. They're not helping us. Women are still not going to choose to be in relationships with us. I guarantee you, they ain't going back. They're not coming back. And they're not even doing like, it's not even like the government is offsetting it and like, okay, we're going to transfer all the money we're stealing from women. We're going to give it to the men. They're not even doing that. It's a lose-lose for everybody. Nobody's going to win in this, man. Wake the fuck up. And then when you put another wrinkle in this, add another piece to this puzzle for me. Like I've been saying, they're deterring women heavily from entering, all of these fields, right? education, things of that nature, right? PT, OT, whatever, right? Cool. And then then this is still the reality for women in blue collar jobs.
Need men. They are an added bonus and fun in our life.
So, first off, those are jobs. Now, they are historically gendered jobs, yes, because in most cases, men have not allowed women to perform them. That's the best that you can offer here. You're losing the argument. But also, that wasn't what she was saying.
Women are those jobs that he mentioned, all those blue collar jobs that men loved. You saw the numbers, 97% firefighters and 98% lumberjacks and all of that stuff. Professor Neal right here is literally saying that historically women have been kept from these jobs to this day. And then you deter them, you make it harder for them to go get a higher education. Where do they have to go? What's left for women to do? Because men aren't going to give them blue collar jobs either.
She was talking about how women don't need men to feel fulfilled. She's saying that she doesn't need your money in order to get by, that she doesn't need a relationship in order to live a rich and emotionally fulfilling life. She doesn't need a partner in order to feel complete because she has great friends. And rather than engage that argument, you responded with a total non sequitur. Worse than that, even, you decided to ignore the argument altogether because you are most definitely not saying, I am more than my job. I am more than my paycheck. I possess depth. I possess emotional intelligence. No, instead, you either ignored her argument or demonstrated that you don't understand it, which I guess means, you just proved your point.
And that is what's pissing men off. That's why men don't care, because they feel slighted that women don't need them. They feel slighted that this generation of men, right? So millennials, Gen Xers, right? Or Gen Zers, they feel slighted because our granddaddies and some of the, like I was raised by a boomer, but our a lot of y'all granddaddies and great granddaddies, and great grandmothers, I would say, had to rely on men. They needed men financially. Now they don't need men for shit. Now they don't need men for money, and they've never needed men for emotional support because women are the emotional backbone of the fucking world. That's the job of women. That's what women do. They took up that mantle. They hold that shit down 10 toes. They ain't men. So men are strictly here, I guess, at this point, or were historically, I guess I should say, to provide economically, financially for women. Now women don't need that, and the men are crashing out. And then when the government comes in and they strip women of the ability to provide for themselves and potentially push women back into relationships with men, the men go, I don't care. And then they do that, like he said, that non sequitur argument of like, I thought y'all said y'all didn't need men. I mean, you fucking cooked the books. You made you stacked the deck. And you're like proud about that? Like, oh, I see you coming back now. Yeah, I can't get a fucking job. I can't get an education. But I'm telling y'all, you guys have overplayed your hand. These women are not going back. They're not going back, man. Y'all gonna find out the hard way. You gonna fuck around and find out. Watch.